Hi, Writing Center students. This is Miss Woods. Speaking to you today about our AP seminar course here at Milford High School and what you can do to help support the seminar students during second semester. There are 6 sections of AP seminar at Milford. I teach 2 sections. Mrs. Shunk teaches 2 sections, and Mrs. Barker teaches 2 sections. There are about 120 students who will be visiting for help on their writing assignments. So during second semester, our students have several tasks to complete in order to make up their final AP exam score of 1 to 5. Currently, we're working on performance task 1 with our students. What's different about this class is that as teachers, Mrs. Shunk, Mrs. Barker, and I cannot give our students feedback at this point in the year. It's as if they've started their exam. We've given them all the help we can along the way, but this is up to them. And it's not only us who cannot give them feedback, it's any teacher in the school. And this is where the Writing Center becomes a really vital role in what we're doing with our seminar students. So a little bit about Performance Task 1, which makes up 20% of the student's final grade. In Performance Task 1, the students first met with teams of 3 to 5 students where they developed a research question or a research topic. Then they split up and started to write their IRRs, or individual research reports. Each team member took the topic that was pre-decided on and used a special lens to research the topic more and more fully. The students, once they complete their IRRs, will take all of their writing and turn it into a multimedia presentation, also called a TMP. We're just in the process of the IRR right now. Our students have a first draft and are working on their final drafts to submit to the College Board. So we'll get back to the TMP with a later video. So let's talk a little bit more about the IRR. The individual research report is about 1,200 words. It cannot go over more than 10%, so that's more than 120 words. So some of our students might be coming to the Writing Center to help with concise writing or deleting extra and unnecessary words. So what's included in the IRR? As I said before, it's a research question or topic, and then it narrows to a review of that research from a specific lens or a specific perspective. So the entire paper should be made up of the claims and the research of experts in the field that the student is studying. There must be in the body of the paper not just quotes from these experts, but explanations of their credibility. For instance, if I'm quoting from journalist Nicholas Kristof, I might want to include the fact that he's a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, or that he's written several books on the subject I'm quoting him about. The students also have to have multiple perspectives in their IRR. That means views from lots of different people. And finally, when they have quotes and ideas from all of these experts, they need to be synthesized within the paper. That means I don't just drop in one person's idea followed by the next, followed by the next. I sort of meld them together and talk about how they work in tandem or maybe even contradict each other. The IRR can just be a review of research, or it can actually have an argument in it. Either way is acceptable to the College Board. The IRR has to have a carefully formatted works cited page, and it has to have proper internal documentation. And these are 2 areas that we're really going to depend on you to help look for when our students come to the Writing Center. So an example of an IRR is on these slides here. So perhaps my group came up with this topic: should kindergarten be mandatory in the United States? One of the students in the group might decide to look at that topic through a specific lens, in this case, the economic lens. This student would be determining, what are the finances involved from the small level of the family to the level of the federal government, and to how many teachers we have in the workforce. Another student might be looking at the scientific lens. What's the brain like for those students? At that certain level, they might be doing some psychology or sociology as well, or looking at the social cultural lens. What does it mean for a community when all of these young students are going to kindergarten? There are other lenses as well, including ethical, futuristic, environmental, political, historical, and artistic philosophical. You should be able to tell that the students who IRR you're reading has the general topic of kindergarten being mandatory, and it's been narrowed to a specific lens and discusses the application of specific stakeholders who are important to the idea at hand. So in the Writing Center, we have specific resources set up for you so you'll be able to help the seminar students. First of all, there's a set of rubrics in the Writing Center. The rubrics are laminated and they have a ring punch in the top left-hand corner. These are the rubrics for every task that the students are going to complete this semester, including performance test 1, 2, and the end of course exam. For performance task 1, and specifically the IRR and later the TMP, we have also a rubric explanation sheet that helps you determine what exactly the rubric is really looking for. Another great thing we have for you in the Writing Center will be high scoring examples of sample IRRs so that you can look at one and compare it to a student's writing. One thing in particular I think you should do is look at the works cited page, and then look at the works cited page of a student who's brought their sample paper, who's brought their own paper to you. Does it compare to the sample? Does it look the same? Does it look as formatted as the sample one? Are the sources looking credible? Finally, we're working on a checklist for you in the Writing Center for things you can look for in students' writing. Particularly important, though, and things you can help our students with right away are grammar and language. Some of our students are young. They are just starting their writing careers, and they need your help perfecting the errors in their papers and correcting the errors in their papers. And they can't ask any English teacher for help to do this, so we're really depending on you. And finally, you can double check the works cited with the internal citations and make sure everything's in order. The one thing Mrs. Shunk, Mrs. Barker, and I really want to tell you is that you need to be critical of these students. Please give them your best. Don't sugarcoat it for them. Tell them when a sentence is awkward. Tell them when something doesn't feel right in their paper. Our students know that we're letting you know that you need to be on your utmost, harshest behavior with the seminar students. And they should come to you and identify themselves as a seminar student and tell you that they really want you to pull their papers apart as much as possible. A final note I wanted to talk about is that any of these students in AP Seminar, once they submit their work, need to be very careful about plagiarism, whether that is intentional or unintentional. If they have a part of their paper that's plagiarized, they will earn a score of 0, which will greatly affect the final score and the outcome for them in the class. So if you detect any sort of plagiarism, whether it's just a suspicion or not, please make the student aware. Perhaps ask them, have you run it through turnitin.com? See what you think you can do for the student when you detect that. Finally, don't forget to share your emails with Mrs. Barker, Mrs. Shunk, and I after you have a consultation with your student. And I really want to thank you for helping our seminar students. You can stop by and ask us at any time if you have any questions.